Berlin Conservation Commission meeting. As a reminder, open session public meetings are subject to being recorded. Your image and voice will be recorded. First thing, review and approve minutes of previous meeting. Did everybody get a chance to look at them? Any?
Well, it was the one from April. Right?
Yeah, so April 2nd.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I did not, so I wouldn't vote.
That's
if
okay,
it-
okay. Any questions, comments, revisions? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the minutes from April 2nd?
So
So,
moved.
okay.
You can second.
Second?
All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask you to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'll abstain.
But we can vote even if we haven't read them, right? I thought we had agreed that it was okay to vote.
It's okay to vote if you're not here, but you read them, I
Right.
think.
Oh, I thought it was the opposite. I thought it was
Yeah.
if you were there. Okay. Then I
Right.
So
Anyone
if you
opposed?
watch them
No.
on, online, you
Yeah.
can, right.
Right,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, treasurer's report. I'm assuming not much has changed.
Yep, so wetlands account has $16,261.57. Open space, we have $28,302.78. And the annual budget, we have $1,427.38.
Hey, we just started.
Sorry, I'm late.
No worries. Awesome. Bills and forms.
So, actually, no bills and no forms.
No.
Confirmation of payments and whatnot. So,
Confirmation of payments for filings?
yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right, mail-in notices.
Mail and notices. All right, so things. Let's see. So we did get a letter, so it came in as an email for 136 Central Street. They're looking to install a barn. So this property, so a part of the property is outside the, was it
Chedco.
Chedco.
Yep.
CR. So they did drop off at least the information last night in our mailbox. So it is something I have to review and see where they're actually proposing this barn.
Oh, this is for Jerry Burney. Yeah, he came to the planning board the other night. So, yep. So the house that's going to be torn down is right here, and he wants to put a 40 by 80 barn
How's it going?
here.
Yep, you're in the right spot.
Okay, what property is that?
Jerry Burney
Hmm.
on Central Street. So this is the house that they built, and this is the existing barn, the house that's going to be removed after he builds the barn.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no wetlands associated with
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Okay, so it's up.
Yep.
Perfect.
There's
Okay,
the
so
barn.
so they don't need conservation review or approval. It's
Nope.
just- You're
Nope.
good to go.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah, so we can just let them know. So, and they're looking for a letter for ZBA, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or just
so,
confirmation that no additional reviews needed for
Right.
conservation.
Yep. And this map shows, I believe this map shows the Chedco CR
Okay.
delineations. That's what this is.
Okay.
And they're within, the excluded area.
Okay.
So that would be the biggest thing for us, is to just let them know that we're good.
Okay.
They're not in the CR and there's no associated wetlands. Sorry, I meant to tell you that I saw that email.
Okay.
Yeah.
No worries.
And do you have anything else for mail?
So that's pretty much mail stuff, I guess. Do we wanna try to squeeze in Mark?
Sure,
Cause I guess that technically was an email that
Yep.
came in.
yep.
So we did have a COC request, but I failed to put it on the agenda, so we can't vote on it tonight. But since Mark has come all the way out this way, we can let him review.
Thank you so much. Mark Garner with Garner Consulting. I'll try to make this brief, and it is a fairly brief item. So this is a COC for property at 60 Marlborough Road here in Berlin. This was the notice of intent was an after-the-fact notice of intent for additional wetland impacts for the crossing, which was replicated and monitored. We submitted those monitoring reports to you, and part of the one of the conditions the commission had, which was to put signage up around the limits of the area to show with limited disturbance around that wetland area, particularly along the driveway, which is right in here, and then also along the front. And so these signs have been installed. We submitted photographs of that in our package. I'll show you some larger scale ones here, so you can see them. We did put them up. These are old photos, I know, but at least with it, if with leaf out, it's a little harder to see them from a distance. But we did put them there. We added the arrows on the sign so you can actually see the location. But we did put them all up, and this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which I think they want. I think you wanted 8 or less. So, but yeah, we got 3 at the end of the driveway, which is good, and then all on the side, and then all on this front as well, just to protect the replication area there. So we're just requesting a COC to close out that order of conditions. Again, basically the only condition was to get the signage up, because everything else was already completed.
Right. And we did do a site walk this winter.
Yep.
Probably the day those pictures were taken. And you can see at least some of the signs from the stop, when you're sitting at the stop sign at Marlborough Road to cross River Road, you can see,
Our ringer.
you can see those signs, yeah.
Yep.
Anybody have any further questions? So we can vote tonight. Oh, no, we can't. You're right.
No, it's not on
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
agenda.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
we just
So
we
we will-
appreciate that you just remember that we had this discussion at the next meeting,
Yeah.
so that you can vote to issue, and then hopefully I don't have to come back.
Awesome. Yes.
Yep, save your extra.
Sounds
Yes.
good. Thank you
Sorry
so
for-
much.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no worries, no worries. Okay, all good.
All
Thank
right.
you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And then the other email that I wanted to just mention is that the Highland Ridge CR is actually on our list to sign for tonight. But the select board has signed it, and we are just about, we're ready to, after we sign it, it'll go to the state and be final,
Great.
5 years later.
How many?
At least 5,
Yeah.
because it was like October of 2020 that it was submitted, so.
Did any of the trustees attend, or do they have any communication recently, do you know, with the town regarding it?
No, because it's the land that Sudbury Valley trustees the land that was donated to Sudbury Valley trustees. So it's not
It's nothing.
part of the,
Community itself.
part of,
if that's the
exactly.
right- If that's the right term.
Yes, I know, I'm like,
No, okay,
Yep.
thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, yep. But it will be on the Registry of Deeds once it's recorded, if anybody wants to ever see it,
Okay,
so.
thank you.
But it will be done, which is amazing. And, do you have, you do, okay. All right, ready to take our first, hearing. Request for determination of applicability for 163 South Street.
All
So-
right, so you can come on up. We'll just have you sign in.
Hi.
Not much happening in.
Do you have copies of the,
I don't have copies of it currently with me in my stash.
but you have it?
Yeah.
Good stuff here, yeah. Oh, okay.
for the record, I guess, state your name and address.
Henderson Brando, nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for having me here.
Here, you wanna take some trees down?
Yeah, yes,
Yep.
yeah. Last time I have one, close the two dots, like together, have one tree fall down on the shed, and pretty much the other ones, that's pretty much older than the other one and bigger. Then I was concerned about the fall on the property also, and hit the house and got a lot of damage.
Okay, and Maddie, where's the edge of the wetlands?
Yep, so essentially, the stream kinda, so you can see it on here, comes through here.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So some of the trees are within the 20-foot buffer. Lexi and I did go out to the site and kinda measure out the trees. But he said he planned on leaving the stumps in the ground, so no ground disturbance, just cutting the trees and, taking the
Yeah.
tops off basically, but leaving
You can use
that
the
root
crane,
system in.
because these are monsters. I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Then I have a gentleman over there today, then he say pretty much he will do like a cut like sessions to pretty much like clean it up and whatever he can do to put that down without damage anything.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
the one close to the driveway. Actually, that's the one closer to us.
Oh, I was gonna say you want.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because this underneath that's already like gone.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, this one, he say, oh, this one, pretty much, you want to get there like fast you can, because that's danger.
Yeah, okay.
That's rotted everything already.
Okay. And then those two over there.
Yep, so this is a multi-stem white
Right.
pine.
Okay.
So you'd
There
be
was
parking
one more.
the crane in the driveway or on the yard or?
This one will be on the driveway, and the other ones will be behind the house, pretty much in the yard.
On the yard?
Yeah.
Right, so I'm sure Maddie explained this, but the things that we're concerned about that is when you disturb the soil, it stays loose and then can wash into the wetlands.
Correct, yep.
Right, so what we would like to see is definitely a crane,
Mm-hmm.
so that they can reach and they don't have to disturb as much soil.
Right.
And
yep.
if they can do it all from the driveway, that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Just.
Yeah, pretty much over there, like no way for him to come on the other way,
Right,
because that's all like
uneven.
uneven.
So, then what we need to decide is, are we gonna make them file an NOI for this? Thoughts? Right.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's
Seems
necessary.
I think,
maintenance.
yeah, if they're not taking the stumps
Yeah,
out.
sure,
Yeah,
it's definitely a maintenance issue,
I agree.
yeah.
Gets to the point of being a safety issue pretty quick when you've got
Yeah.
trees that are close enough to a house to strike the house.
I
Yeah.
agree, those are big
Yeah.
trees.
And
Yeah.
those are some big trees.
Yeah, I went by there today, they're monsters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, white
Me-
pines get pretty big,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
And I was surprised because the one broke down, like, that was a healthy tree.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, no.
Mr. Walter was there, then he say, when that get down there, Mr. Walter came over and say, you gotta take those out of here, like as soon.
Yeah. So, we need a motion, did you already check off the right box?
I have not checked that,
Okay,
but, yeah.
all right, let me just get the right language. So, it's a negative determination.
Yep.
So, so it could be number 2.
Yeah, so the one that's work within a buffer zone.
Right, described, work described in the request is in an area subject to jurisdiction, but will not remove, fill, dredge, or alter the area. And then this one is, but will not alter the area subject to jurisdiction of the act. How are those two different?
Yeah, I think
Hate
one says
these
it's
things.
within resource area and one's within buffer zone.
Oh, right,
Yeah, so this would just be buffer zone.
okay, so it's actually number 3.
Then does it require an NOI?
No.
Okay, thanks.
So, if someone would like to make a motion to issue a negative determination, for reason number 3.
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second?
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will ask you to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? All right. You are good to go. We just need to sign this, and then we will, if you hang around, Maddie will give you a copy.
Perfect.
All right. And May 21, 25. Go that way first. Awesome. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Not everybody does. Makes it easier to
Oh, yeah,
just,
Definitely.
yeah, we know what you're doing. We don't have to drive by and say, hey, what's going on over there?
Exactly, yep.
And you know what's going on. You know you're
Sometimes
good.
Take a little time, but that's the way to go.
Yeah.
Like to inform everybody and everybody knows what they doing.
Exactly. Yep.
Good luck with everything.
Oh, thank you. Really appreciate it. On those big trees, heck, that's gonna be a big plan for,
Yeah.
because when the guy, I just met the gentleman who was looking for to give me a price, and he look it up and say, those are old ones.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Thank you.
I have a very long last name.
I think that's not long in their mind.
I
Mine
think
is-
it probably is.
Mine is Henderson de Paula Brandon Silva.
Oh, yours
wow.
is okay.
Yeah.
Mind if we just call you, I don't know, Bob or something?
Eddie.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever.
You from Brazil?
Brazil. Yeah. All Brazilians have like the crazy biggest names ever. Yeah.
There
Thank
you
you.
go. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, you guys too. Have a great day.
Thank you, you too.
Should I stay, wait for her, or?
Yeah, you can, she's just right out in the hall.
Okay.
The copy machine's right there, so she'll
Really
make a
appreciate it.
copy and hand it. give
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Alright. My guess is the next one, we're gonna, the last meeting, we weren't sure if we were gonna actually see them or not this meeting.
Doesn't look like it.
It doesn't look like it. They still have 7 minutes, but,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. How are you, Craig?
Good.
Good. I'm a little surprised to see you. Were you in the area?
No, I came out specifically
Oh my goodness.
to talk about, when I see on the agenda, is that the ones that's not here?
No. Oh, yes. As a matter of fact,
The one with the development that bisects the dead railroad.
correct. Yep.
They've been on
Well,
time in the
want me to
past.
fill the airtime up with what's very special about that project, why I'm here? 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
There's a law that says if you're gonna build on top of or next to a former railroad corridor, no matter if it's just a driveway, it has to go through a special process called the 40/54A process, which means that the office inside DOT, the Rail and Transit Office oversees this and another law, that you cannot do that unless there's a hearing for this particular one. It has to be a hearing with the Secretary of Transportation in Boston. And you might say, well, why do they make people go all the way to Boston? Because they know. You are right at the border. Everything inside 495 is owned by the state. Everything outside of 495 is the wild, wild west. And lots of times, those hearings are not scheduled. I'm here to make sure that it does get scheduled, okay?
Yeah.
Because we are at the cusp of getting this thing permitted now.
Yes, we are.
Right now, we're at the whole corridor is 63 miles open. 12 miles are under construction right now. We're gonna be at 75 miles open at the end of this year. DOT, after promising me this for 18 months, they finally, 4 weeks ago, have started to cost out how much it's gonna cost to reassemble the corridor. Cause all the small change, easy to build, low-hanging fruit projects are done. We have the, what is it, 900-foot thing over 5 corners here. That bridge will need to be replaced. We can develop workarounds, but the bridge is coming. There'll be a bridge over the Nashua River at the face of the Wachusett Reservoir Dam, or on top of the dam, like Quabbin Reservoir has a pathway on top of the dam.
Oh, do they?
Yes,
Oh.
unbeknownst to people in Central Mass, we will only allow you to use the dam 1 day a year. Yet every morning we watch the weather on TV and they take it from on top of the Quabbin Reservoir and see people on it. And so there's big, expensive projects to do. So they're costing up that right now. But I just launched a booster rocket to get to the second stage in height. You know about our report about the East-West Trail. Once it gets built, it's gonna be very impactful. It's gonna be very expensive to refill these bridges, rebuild these bridges, fix the tunnel in Clinton.
Yep.
One of the intersecting trails with this long trail is one from Northampton to New Haven. We have hired a consultant and they're just getting underway Friday, a report about what that is gonna be worth, with easy connections to New York City, bringing in throngs of people by rail into New Haven, and then biking all the way up to Northampton and then turning east. Our report we did 2 years ago was all about people from Boston heading west. This is the booster rocket now.
Awesome.
So we're gonna put this over the top. I'm gonna be stepping down as head of the Neurotic Network.
I saw that in your newsletter.
Everything, all I do is get places to yes. I resurrect projects that were voted down, or teach locals how to defeat local opposition. I will have succeeded again here. And I will then, we need to stand up 20 to 30 bed and breakfasts in Worcester County, flyover country, if I might say. Because when we had that ride last September across the state, we couldn't find any accommodations from the east side of Belchertown all the way to here at 495 between Berlin and Hudson. There's zero. And so I'm standing up a national podcast. You will all be invited to join and participate. And we will stand up 20 to 30 bed and breakfast in the next 5 years here. And so I'm going on to other things. Glenn Pransky will be the head of Neurotic Network. We're rebranding it to become Mass Central Rail Trail Coalition or Mass Central Rail Trail Network. I think network is better, it's less politically sounding, and it recognizes that there's 18 other intersecting trails here.
Right.
The densest network of dead steam railroad corridor in North America is within 150 miles of my house. You're in the circle here.
Yep.
So this is gonna be very transformative, beyond just people coming to your community just with bikes, not with cars. Or if we can get enough bed and breakfast here to have like in walking with bed and breakfast every 5 or 10 miles.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's the vision. So
Well-
I'll be out they're not here to talk about this, just make sure the building commissioner sends a notice to the Department of Transportation that there needs to be this hearing.
Right.
Because you
Yes.
don't want that being, the people buying those houses, once they get built, not to know that the trail is coming. That would not be
Correct.
good.
Correct. Hold on one sec. So what's happening with Central Street?
Yep, so they postponed, they were still working on getting through DEP's comments, so they postponed, or continued to June 4th.
Okay.
Same thing for the ANRAD that we have for
Oh.
180
Oh.
River Route.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are you guys gonna
Oh.
go to hybrid meetings again shortly here?
Probably not.
I think the legislature just passed that, yes, you must
That you must.
look into it.
Do we have the
That way I won't have to drive out.
We do.
next time.
I was just gonna say,
Yeah,
are you
right?
able to come out in 2 weeks, cause I've got an abutter meeting right before this, if you wanna join.
Oh,
yeah.
good. I was gonna ask about that.
6:30 on June 4th, is that our next meeting, June 4th?
Yep.
I'd love
That would be great if you could.
to. I'll go out to lunch or dinner with people if you wanna go before dinner.
There
I
you
think it's
go.
6:30 in the evening.
Rob, you said that's next week, or next meeting?
Next meeting,
So
6.
June 4th?
Yep, so I'm
Hang on.
planning
Do
to
you want me
meet
to be
with.
there?
Well, thank
If
you
you
for
could
making the
make it.
drive.
Yes.
And
I was looking forward to the
I'm the trails
railroad
guy.
car.
I know, right?
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you all.
So, and our next one
Thanks,
is
Greg.
postponed as well. Nice.
I didn't see him over there.
Do we have comments from DEP yet about River Road West?
So they did issue a file number, they didn't have any comments for it.
Okay.
Yep.
'Cause
So I have reached out to Patrick Garner. He said this week he would be providing a quote for how much it would be to
Okay,
review this wetland.
right, so that's what we're waiting for really, is the peer review.
Right.
I knew we were waiting for something, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, we have term expirations. We have Ethan, are you re-signing up for the commission? Okay, and Louise?
No.
Right. So Louise is gonna resign. But,
Stay on as an associate member.
Oh, great.
Yep. So, and her and Lexi have worked out a thing where Lexi would like to be the next member.
I would definitely vote yes on that.
So, does anybody have any comments, any, thing to say?
Am I supposed to say something?
Do you
If you
wanna
want
say
to.
something?
Oh, I wasn't prepared for that. No, I mean, I think the Conservation Commission is a very cool organization, and I would be honored to be a part of it in a more official setting, and go to more site walks and say aye when votes are passed.
And you went to school for this, so to
I
further your
did.
career.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, my degree is on the broader side, but this was something that I've been very interested in, and did get an adjacent degree, so,
I think you'd be an excellent addition, and it's awesome to see somebody on the younger side getting involved. Phew, big time. Nothing personal.
Being the oldest goat here.
So I guess I would take a motion to recommend Lexi Rogalinsky to the select board for appointment to the commission.
Second.
Yep, so moved.
Somebody has to.
Oh.
So
But you
move
have
it.
to-
Sorry, we have to move it first. I'm so
Make-
excited about seconding it.
So you made the motion?
Yeah,
Any?
the timing was perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's great. Did we get a motion in a second?
I think.
I think we got 2 motions.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Motions.
so
right, So you made the motion.
Second.
And you
Second,
seconded
yeah,
it.
there
All
we go.
right.
That works.
One
That's
So
how
make
I
sure
wrote
we're
it
all
down.
official.
That's how I wrote
Yeah.
it.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Preemptive second.
Hearing none, I'll ask you to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And I would like to thank you for all of your years of dedicated service.
Well, you're welcome.
How many years?
About 20-something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I think I
Wow,
started
geez.
2003, so 20 years.
22.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
End of an era.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, thank you
Yeah.
so much.
And I look forward to you still being an associate because your help is invaluable,
Okay.
especially when I need someone to go through the minutes. You are meticulous and always find the information that I'm looking for.
Okay. I'll be glad to do that.
Yeah, yep.
Right, so,
Um,
and I think the fact that Lexi has history here in Berlin is very important, you know?
Yep.
Lived here for like 20-something years.
Yep. Awesome. Well, we can't officially welcome you yet because the select board hasn't appointed you yet.
Just make sure you send an email to get it on our next agenda.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. And so that's that. Lancaster Road. Nothing.
No updates.
No updates. All right. Actually, let's go back up because we do have some updates for the wetlands, item number 5 on the agenda. We don't have anything for Maplewood. Highland Ridge, there has been a recent monitoring report.
Yep, basically Patrick's just sent over, everything's stable, looking good, so.
Awesome.
At this point, we're just waiting for the
We're-
contractor to actually
Ask for
ask for the,
a certificate
Yeah.
of compliance. Yep.
And
okay.
all the silt fence is gone, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
So
I believe so as well.
I'll double check again.
Yeah.
I'll-
I'm wondering there was.
Maybe not tomorrow, but I'll,
What happened?
I don't know, there's a little weather report that seemed a little,
I know.
We use scuba gear.
yeah,
Yep.
maybe, thank you.
Yeah, actually tomorrow would be a great time to go take a walk.
Well, you know what, you could be right, but anyway, I will make sure that we can, I'll report at the next meeting
Awesome.
to see how things are looking.
All right. Anything new on the CSX derailment?
Yep, so we
Yeah.
did go on a site visit, last Friday. The site is looking quite stabilized. It's grown in quite nicely. Actually,
Yep.
it's the most water we've seen down there.
Yeah, it definitely looks
was-
like it's running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the culvert that was crushed during the cleanup period has been fixed and was running nicely.
Yeah.
Operating as it should.
Yep.
What was that
Everything's running.
location?
This is where the train derailment happened across the street from your house?
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm not here for that matter, but I can tell you that that picture of that culvert that you just portrayed is now collapsed because the beaver dam that has been built and is built yearly, depending on enforcement of however they critter control or what you would call it, they successfully dammed the culvert that runs underneath the tracks. So the flow of Northbrook comes southbound and it stays on the eastbound side of the railroad tracks. However, there's a holding pond that branches off and it comes along the side of Allen Road before it branches into the culvert that shoots underneath the road and redirects the water in a southbound direction, but back on the eastbound side, which would be the Northbrook side. Because that culvert is dammed, the water cannot escape. That water level is rising due to the spring that we've had and the current conditions we have tomorrow and whatnot. So what's been happening, the water is now finding its way southbound on the west side of
Yep.
the tracks.
We saw that. I was
Yeah.
wondering what.
And because of that, the beavers are damming up where there's a little turnaround where people would park to go, I would call it the kind of the causeway portion of the tracks where there's water on either side of you. That little turnaround there, the beaver dam is there. However, I don't know if it's a town. I've been in communication with the town. It's not been very successful in regards to it someone does break it, I'm assuming it would be someone with authority to let the water drain from there.
Well, that would be us,
Right.
and this is the first I'm hearing of it, so.
So that gets broken, and essentially what's happened now is the water, that culvert is not on the map based on my information that I received being part of this process prior to this. And this, again, is not why I came here tonight, but this, I think, is part of my ongoing issue that I have also. That water has now eroded the culvert that is not actually on the map, but it's necessary to be there. They had an engineering company in here a couple weeks ago for the highway department that was there doing different measurements of some sort. That culvert was being utilized by this drainage coming down. This drainage now has overwhelmed the culvert or the size pipe that's there and has now created the whirlpools, which shows that the water is draining off into a different avenue and has eroded all of the silt and the dirt around the pipe, collapsing that whole section. So my concern in being with, my name is Michael Sheen, I'm from 88 Allen Road. I was the main person that complained about the work that was being done at 92 Allen Road. My concern is that the water that does transpire, that comes down, if it were to clog, is going to back up into Rick's property, which then affects my property. And now that is a deeper, probably never gonna happen, but there is this concern that this area has been neglected over time and it's been allowed to deteriorate to this portion, and no one seems to be contacting each other, and there's no fault in that. I think that more communication's better, because I'm not seeing, the answers I'm getting from the highway department don't seem like they know what the Conservation Commission's doing, so everybody's at a stalemate. I don't know if it's appropriate for me to elaborate anymore. I'd like to speak before I leave here tonight in regards to my issue at 92 Allen Road, when that is, and if it is acceptable and proper, I would like to, given the opportunity. That is the information I have in regards to that culvert, is that the Beaver Dam is diverting all of that water that's being held, and it's eroding that section. And the problem is that this water is also softening the bank of the road, and if you look at the road is concave from the vehicles traveling. We have Amazon, we know all the deliveries that people have now. We have the parking lot for the hiking trails, which is appropriate to have. Since COVID, there's been an influx of people that utilize our woods. We've seen this. That road is very heavily traveled now, even though it's a dead-end road. It's subject and has been subject to being paved. My issue is just that, and I'm not the keeper of Allen Road, but I'm an abutter to this issue, and it does affect potentially my property. That's my interest. If this is continued to allow, even if we were to put a new road in, that subterranean, and I'm not a scientist, I'm not thinking, this is my observation of earth and land, that if that is continued to be saturated, if when we go to put down the new road, what's the point if only it's going to duplicate the same issues and,
Sure.
and deteriorate? If we're gonna invest in our town and our roads and our infrastructure, pre-planning prior to the development or success of these roads and roadways is imperative, but I don't feel as though, and if I'm not going to jump to the others, but this is where where it overlaps, that because of that drainage issue in that area, I really think that people need to come together, and I'm not judging, I just need help.
So there's a couple issues. One is that the culvert is, I understand it is CSX
Correct.
responsibility, so we can't touch it. So we're gonna reach out to CSX and talk to them about it.
So what
The other issue,
But I don't
let me finish.
No, because I
No,
know
please,
Fred has already
finish.
contacted CSX, so I would say that someone from this office should be talking to Fred and getting things in line with
Yep,
Fred, because there's two.
Yep,
you
okay,
don't need
hold on.
duplication of effort either.
Yep, hold on. What else did you
Right.
have, Ethan?
You could have let me finish. I don't
didn't.
appreciate being interrupted. No, you
I'd
didn't.
like you to finish, go ahead, please.
So there's issues with disturbing beaver dams, and I don't know if CSX is even gonna be willing to do anything about it. And I'm just letting you know that ahead of time, okay?
I'm
Right.
here to provide information to people that are better suited to do the job, and I appreciate you hearing me, and I appreciate your response.
Okay. So we will reach out to Fred and see if we can help kind of untangle all of this. And,
Yeah, I know Highway Department was looking into doing a full-on look at all the culverts throughout the town, figure out who's
right,
needs
right, what
attention
need,
immediately. and
yeah.
kinda
But especially
prioritize.
if Allen Road is being undercut, you know, that certainly bumps that one up.
Right.
So,
Can I just add, is there an appropriate time where I can just kind of air my piece out and I can adjourn myself from this meeting. That way things don't
Sure.
kind of prevent-
Actually, we have one more thing to talk about, and then we get to 92 Allen Road.
Please and thank you.
Okay. So let's finish talking about the CSX portion. So, as far as you're concerned, CSX has done what they need to do to mitigate the train derailment.
Yep.
Correct.
So,
Yep, so the next step, so the only thing, so they were gonna go out, we said, go ahead and remove the straw bottles,
Yep.
nothing's gonna go anywhere. And
In
he
the
was gonna
plastic
reseed.
wrap, so we
Yeah.
want them out.
okay.
Yeah.
So should we wait to lift the enforcement order until that happens? Just to make sure that it actually happens?
That's a good point. So, yeah, I'm definitely gonna reach out to Jonathan. He said he plans on taking photos. He was gonna get out there, get the crew out there, take him out, take photos while he's out there, throw some seed down,
Okay.
just in those areas in case they're a little bit more sparse because there's metal
Because-
bottles sitting on it.
Sure. Yeah,
Give it a
so
look.
after we get confirmation that that has happened, then we
Mhm.
can put it on the agenda to vote.
Great.
Okay. Awesome. 100 River Road. So Maddie, Lexi, and I went out to look at that mitigation. It's so cool. This whole hillside is now 100% clover. I've never seen a whole entire field of clover like that
Yeah.
before. But they've done a great job in fixing that and bringing it back to, it's not back to what it was because it was a wooded hillside and they buried the trees, so. But she was telling us some of the stuff that they pulled out of there. Furniture, refrigerators, washing machines, like they just buried all
Garbage.
kinds of just garbage, and as well as tree stumps and dirt and everything.
Is that Danny Tyler's farm?
Yeah. Yeah.
I did a visit a few years ago and it was really bad.
Yeah. But they've cleaned it all up and they've done a great
Yeah, that was
job.
beautiful.
Yep. So where do we stand with that?
So I'm thinking that we recommend that they file for a certificate of compliance at this point. So they do just have to remove, their cell fence is still up.
Right.
So I just have to put together a list for Carol on what the
Okay.
next steps are. So first step, remove the sill fence, get it out of there.
Yep. And then
then-
file it for a COC.
Yep, so I think, we're probably gonna need an as-built plan.
And they use straw bales, not wattles, right?
Yes,
That's what I remember.
But I believe we still have an open enforcement order on this as well.
yep, technically. So once we issue the certificate of compliance, so they do have an
They have
order of
a-
conditions. So once we close that out, we can close out the enforcement order
enforcement,
at the
okay.
same time.
Okay. All right, great. All right, now, 92 Allen Road.
Yes, and I apologize for cutting you off. This has been a long portion of my time recently. I apologize.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Being the person that brought this to the Conservation's attention approximately 7 months ago, Mr. Broadmerkle had installed a pipe that was given to him by the town of Berlin. The town of Berlin Highway Department gave him this pipe. The pipe was installed without any permits. The Highway Department, in good faith, I believe, thought that he would do the right thing and go out and get the permits prior to installing it, and maybe it was easier to drop it off when they dropped it off. I don't know. It was described to me that the town can give property to people in town if it's mutually beneficial for the people involved. I'm, through this process, haven't seen or don't understand how this process was mutually beneficial to the town and to Rick at this point in time. We have a pipe that was installed 7 months ago with no permits. It's been left dormant, and basically a cease and desist was done. The Conservation Commission was very generous in giving him the 3 months stay to begin with, just as the buffer from the start, because if we look back and we remember when we came into this process, it was moving into the holiday season, going into the first of the year, and it didn't seem fair to burden him or the agencies that he would be trying to contract with for the work. It seemed better off to look forward to the spring to do it. At the time, the town had given him an ultimatum, and the ultimatum, from what I remember, if I'm correct, was to either provide a permit and have an engineering company come and do the work, or to have the pipe removed. I would say that Mr. Broadmerkel's demonstrated the inability to adhere to the guidelines and to the deadlines that the Conservation Commission has set forth. I would respectfully request that the Conservation Commission consider the removal of the pipe at this time as the only alternative moving forward, due to the fact that Mr. Broadmerkel is unable to come to the table at this time to show the respect or to email. I don't know his life, I'm not in his, contacts, but this seems to be important enough for me to come and request this. If the Conservation Commission deemed it that this should be the route that he goes and that the pipe be removed, I believe that the Highway Department should be a part of this, because what we have now after 7 months with no silt mitigation, no silt fences, no hay bales, nothing set in place throughout the winter time, throughout the spring and the thaw, and all of this water and all of this has now created crevasses in the sandy material that he's used to pack in and around the culvert. And you can see it for yourself. This isn't fictitious. All of this is now drained into inside of this pipe. So there's been nothing, there was no stone, no positive barrier to help with erosion. So for this time, all of this is now washed into that pipe. That pipe's gonna have to be inspected. We just spent money on a company from outside agency to come in to examine these culverts. I question whether this culvert would pass, or did they know that this is not a culvert that even has been permitted. I'm looking for the help and direction from the Conservation Commission. I appreciate your time tonight and your consideration for what I've suggested, that he be made to take out the pipe and the town go in and dress that the way it should be dressed and manage it from a town position and keep the water flowing and not allow a private citizen to interfere with this water table that is so precious and feeds North Brook, which exits throughout the whole town. Thank you for your time tonight and your consideration.
Thank you. Have we heard anything from?
We have not heard any updates, so we did set a deadline of him having to contract somebody by today. So I will follow up with him and see if he's decided on somebody. So one of the contractors that he had talked with had suggested that a notice of intent wouldn't be possible because that's a perennial stream that runs through there. So to meet stream crossing standards and whatnot, it would just be too expensive. So remediation of that pipe, taking that out and replicating what was existing is pretty much his only option.
Right.
So we just need a wetland scientist to be confirmed on the project and start working, overseeing on how to properly do that and, actually determine the impacts and how to move forward.
Okay.
We looked at it last Friday.
Yeah, so these are from.
Nothing had been done. That
Right.
was.
Right.
And there is some erosion issues, and we noticed, so it's, yeah.
So again, we agree. The information that we have is that is the way to fix this, is to remove that pipe. We can issue an order that happens. Unfortunately, we do not have much teeth. We do not have a wetlands bylaw. We cannot fine. We can issue the piece of paper.
Can I ask the question, so if the ultimate goal is to keep this perennial stream, however you described it, flowing, free flowing, who is gonna come in and sort of do the assessment and take the pipe out? If this pipe is negatively impacting the flow of this stream, ultimately, if it's a detriment to what's happening, how does that get removed?
So we have ordered him to hire someone to come up with that plan and to draft that plan. Apparently he has talked to one person. I don't know what happened with that person as to why he's not moving forward with that person.
And I guess my concern really is that at some point they're gonna redo the road. And someone's gonna have to, the culvert that's underneath the road that they're going to have to replace when they redo the road, or however they, whatever they do, it ties into this pipe now that
Mhm.
no one saw the joint in which Rick joined the two pipes. It was filled in prior to anyone viewing that. We don't know what that joint looks like between the two pipes. I'm assuming when they dig down to do the road, they're gonna have to address whether or not that's going, so
Sure.
how does that happen when the day that they come to do the road over, and you wanna make a culvert, make it the way it should be, and the pipe's correct, and you have this derelict pipe in there that this man has put in that was given to him by the town of Berlin. It's a town-owned pipe in the ground. The town should take some responsibility for this, because there was no process set in place that said, yes, this is what you do. This is town property, it costs money, you can apply to have it, it's mutually beneficial to you and the town. Yes, you may, but prior to that, please provide us with the permits given to us from the Conservation Commission so that I can release this material for you. It should be a process. I'm not saying it shouldn't happen.
Mhm.
It should be a process so that this 7-month obligation that I've had doesn't have to be on me. And these are the inner workings that I'm looking to be cleaned up. But how do we resolve this pipe if the town owns the pipe? They still own it. It's a town pipe.
Right.
Does the town have any ability to manage their pipe in conjunction with the Conservation Commission? Can the highway department come to you and say, listen, this is what we wanna do, it's our pipe, we wanna make this right. We'll hire the company at a cost to us, and we'll replicate the wetlands and make this right. That seems to me like a better option, because I don't see Mr. Broadmerkle coming to the table. If he does, I congratulate him, and I hope the process goes smoothly. But I'm trying to think outside the box, that I don't wanna be left with, we have no teeth, and I don't mean that as a.
Yeah, it's.
But coming from it from the other angle.
Sure.
This wasn't Rick's pipe in the ground, this is the town of Berlin's pipe in the ground. Can the highway department, whose pipe it is, can they apply and go through this process to remediate the area and make it right? Is that a possibility?
I am not legal counsel, but I'm going to guess that if the pipe is buried on private property, that we cannot.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
That-
this is on, like,
Mm.
under his driveway, right? This isn't
Well,
across his
it's
road?
in his yard.
Okay.
You know,
But it's
there's
not
all
crossing the road
kinds of.
So when that
Wait,
floods,
no, my turn,
who
my
deals
turn,
with it?
my turn.
Okay.
I don't know how, there's generally an easement on either side of the road. I don't know how far that easement goes. I
Sure.
don't know exactly where, in relation to all of that, is this pipe is. So we gave him a deadline of today. He has not met that deadline. So we will follow up with him and find out what is going on. We will, if we need to escalate it to town council to find out what authority we have, we, the town, we, the commission, we, the highway department. So all of that then becomes, because it doesn't matter at this point who bought the pipe, where the pipe came from. The pipe is installed on private property. It is now on private property. So there then becomes legal aspects of that we have to understand where those boundaries are.
I guess my concern is that the debris is gonna continue to go where it's going.
100%.
So
And so we would like to see this resolved sooner than not.
But if it wasn't, which I'm, after 7 months, not optimistic, if it wasn't resolved on Mr. Broadmerkle's end, who's gonna resolve the debris?
I don't know. I will say that I do not have an answer for that right now.
Okay.
I do not know.
Is that something we could look into? Because at some point, the culvert's not gonna function,
Correct.
and then the water's gonna back up, which is my concern.
Correct. Right.
And
And
then-
then if it impacts the road, then it becomes the town's problem. So it is in everybody's interest to resolve this before that happens.
Sure.
I know that you are involved in law enforcement, and I know that you understand that sometimes there are barriers because of laws that don't allow you to do things the way you want them done.
No, I do understand that, but I'm
So-
also, in my profession, found ways creatively to do the right thing.
Yeah.
By using the system to benefit people. people also. It's not always a punitive thing. You can make things right if you can have the angle. I'm just looking for the highway department to come to the table and be a part of this conversation and process. And if there's other ways that we could tackle it, it would be wonderful. But at a minimum, I think, we have a situation that's deteriorating. And
Understood.
And I
And,
appreciate your time.
and agree.
And I won't
Yep.
belabor the issue.
Yeah, and, you know, the deadline was today, so we didn't do anything in preparation for him not meeting the deadline, because we're ever optimistic that deadlines will be met.
Now, let's say he says, you know what, no problem. I'll take my tractor down there right now and I'll dig it out. What does that look like?
So
That's not actually
we
an
don't want
option.
that, yeah.
Yeah, that-
We,
that-
we need it overseen by wetland
Okay,
scientists.
well,
Yeah.
I'm just,
Yeah.
you might think about going down the day that you let them know.
Yeah, valid.
Yeah. Yep.
So.
Yeah,
Well,
you know,
listen,
so,
it's been stressful, and I apologize. I appreciate your guidance. Neighbor relations are never easy, and it's been ebbs and flows with he and I wish them the best, and I appreciate your time. I apologize again.
I appreciate
It was rude of me, and I should know enough at my age. So I appreciate your
And,
accepting my apology.
and I understand, and I think we understand that your frustration and that you are frustrated, and unfortunately, in a lot of ways, our hands are a bit tied to
Yes.
really actively.
right, but we will
Get this
definitely see
situation
what we can
resolved.
do and do the most that we can.
And,
Yeah.
would anybody have an opportunity to email me for the next meeting that this would be relative to, so that I don't take up any of your time?
So you don't have to keep coming down?
No, I mean, I just, I won't say too much, but
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Um,
Yep.
Yep, we can
Okay,
definitely email
thank you
you.
so much for
Okay.
your time, and I'm sorry to be long.
All right,
We have a CEO, right?
yeah.
And this is a good example of why we need a wetlands bylaw.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I believe the intent is to do the right thing, but, you know, sometimes when everything gets done tomorrow, all of a sudden a long time goes by.
Right.
Right. And there wasn't anything really over the winter that could have happened.
No.
Yeah.
You can't delineate wetlands when they're frozen, when
Right.
it's frozen.
Yeah.
Yep. I feel like it's a cost issue that he's running into. I know he's reached out to 3 different contractors, because they've reached out to us being like, hey, can you send that enforcement order? Can you give us an overview of it?
Got it.
And then I don't hear anything after
Right.
that.
Right.
So.
Yep, and I get that. I'm not sure how we can help on that
Right.
part.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Do we?
Rock and hard place.
Yep. Bringing it back to that culvert, the CSX one. Fred is gonna probably talk to CSX about that. Already
About the
has.
beaver dam.
Yeah. Or how that's affecting that culvert.
Yeah, I would like to know whose property the beaver dam is on.
Right.
It's on the railroad property, isn't it?
Is it?
I
Yeah.
mean, can
So I
we
feel
walk
like-
down there and look? No,
Right.
because it's railroad property.
Like the culvert, is the culvert on Richard's property? Like the culvert down, like,
This,
like, you know how when you cross down that
I
little
think
path?
the one he's talking about, the one
that
Mike
is
was talking
his, yes.
Yeah, cause he
That's
owns like a
private
weird little
property.
sliver.
Yeah.
Oh,
He-
the one that's.
He
On
owns
the
a
other
sliver
side,
of land
yeah.
on the
I
other
think we're talking
side.
about
Culvert
two
right
culverts, right?
Yeah, there's two different
ones,
culverts.
Yeah.
So
But
there's one that runs
The
on
one
Island Road.
he was saying collapsed.
Yeah,
He was saying,
I think he was saying
I
it was
don't-
the one under that.
I don't know if
little
it's
stone bridge.
collapsed or
Right.
clogged.
well, I can't go out.
But-
We can't go out there, tonight, but I could go first thing in the morning,
Yeah. Let's see.
so.
Okay.
Do you mind swinging
It
by
looked-
Richard's too?
No,
Okay. Talking to him.
I will.
Okay.
All right.
Well, maybe I better wait till 9.
Yeah.
Fair, you know,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Bring your waiters.
If I don't put it on the calendar right now, then it won't happen.
Right. All right, trail maintenance. You
I'm
guys
very
had-
excited.
Yeah, you guys had a good,
I should have sent you guys some photos.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, we had a great day. Phil actually came out to lend a hand and got a lot done, and we got way more done even than I expected to. Frank and Beth Brewer actually came out,
Oh, that's awesome.
as in
Brewer Brook.
Brewer Brook,
Yeah.
which I was like, okay. So that was cool. And so Rob Horn, Brian Belfer from Northborough, who's also on the Northborough Trails Commission, he and I are friends, and he came out to lend a hand. Of course, now I have to go there and help them out with a project next weekend, because that's how that works. Of course, not helped any by the fact that I scheduled my workday for his workday, and then he had to bump his, so. But he was friendly enough to do that, so I definitely owe him one. But yeah, we were able to give a pretty solid cut to the whole new rerouted trail, and I didn't even realize how much we'd gotten done until like 12 or 12:30, and then I did a walk and was like, oh, we can open this. Awesome. So we did.
That's it, yeah, and there was a post on Berlin Neighbors Connect.
Yep.
Did you see this is the Brewer Brook?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see all the comments?
I saw some of them, but not all of them.
It was,
Yeah.
thank you very much,
Yeah.
you know.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, I made the post onto our on the Concom Facebook group, and then also posted
Shared it, yeah.
shared it to Berlin Neighbors Connect
Yeah,
and stuff. I
that's
was also
usually-
trying to promote the actual workday that way as well.
Yep.
So got a good turnout and got a lot done, and yeah, very happy to have that done, because that old cart path was a mess.
Yeah, it definitely, the path needed to come out of that wet, boggy area.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Awesome.
So
I'll
yeah.
have to go check it out.
And thanks to AJ and Lexi for coming out for that workday last
didn't
fall.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
No, I know you weren't there on
Yeah.
this weekend, but you were there in the fall.
Did
to-
any students show up or no?
No.
I didn't think so.
Do you have an appetite for
No.
dragging that old boat that's back there out?
I was so tired.
I tried to move it myself, and I said,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to disassemble it.
I've been eyeballing that thing to try to get it out of there for about 10 years.
Anyway.
So I'm right there with you. That's
Sorry.
on my list. That's on my list.
I think I have the specific pinhead wrenches to disassemble it, you know.
Disassemble it?
Yeah.
Isn't it an inflatable raft though, or are there parts
Right,
to
but,
it that
but the,
stays or something?
yeah,
that support it?
they're a bunch of wooden parts, and I thought.
Okay. I'll take another look
Might
at
be
it,
a
because
little less
chances are I have whatever
Yeah.
wrenches those are, because I'm
Anyway.
pretty well equipped. But yeah, we'll make it happen in the next 6 months or so, I think. And then
Yes,
I've got
it would be lovely to have that out of there.
yeah, 100%. If I'd had more energy at the end of the day, I definitely would have. But I was pretty.
Come
tired.
on.
Can we just dig a hole and bury it? No.
Yeah, no.
Not all that rock,
Uh,
right?
All right, well, thank you, Phil. Thank you, Ethan.
Yeah.
And everybody else that went, and that's awesome.
Yeah, very very happy about that.
It's beautiful out there.
Yeah.
It is. So-
Yeah.
Oh, that's
It's a beautiful-
It's a gem.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a really nice piece of land out
Yep. And it's a nice loop. Have you, yeah.
there. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and one of the ladies, I can't remember her name,
Mhm.
she was talking, she asked me where I lived, and she said, oh, I helped do your trail.
Oh.
So I said, I guess I'm helping return the favor.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.
That was probably Beth, because the other woman that came through, who's a bit younger, she just moved back in the area recently, so probably Beth.
Cool.
Yep.
All right. Conservation restrictions, Highland Ridge. Let's sign that thing. Oh my goodness.
Can I have a copy of that? Is it possible? Or am I allowed
Yeah,
to?
sure.
Well, I think our trustees probably would like to have
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Just a for the
Right, because
record.
this is the final version. This is the version that will get filed at the Registry of Deeds. So I don't see why not.
Okay, thank you.
Where is our signature page? Right here. Your last conservation restriction. Your last CR.
The last one I can sign.
Yes.
Do you have a nice purple or red
Yeah, we
pen or
should go out
something?
and
Right.
celebrate on this one.
I know, yeah, I'm telling you. All right,
And then Walter was
there's
saying-
that. You want this with that? You want this
Yes,
with
we
that?
do.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Go this way with that one.
Are there two copies?
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh. Thank you.
Here.
Trade you.
All right, yeah.
Thank you.
That way.
On there.
So, no Walter.
Oh, right
you're
there, yeah.
Does he need to come over and sign it?
No, no, we've
Okay,
got
we'll
a
do more.
quorum.
Okay.
Did I?
Yep.
I didn't even
Yeah, I don't
that
think
one.
we got those.
sorry.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm here. I might as well sign it. You know,
Right?
And then Eloise notarizes it.
at least get one Bickford on the docket.
Yeah, oh, Eloise needs to notarize this? All right, nobody leave this room. I believe she has to come down. I
Okay.
don't think you bring it. I think
Yeah,
she has to
right.
witness that
Oh.
we
We're
all,
here.
yeah,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
okay,
I will go grab her, and I
okay.
guess we have to. Is there anything there? I think there's a date thing there.
May I take that file, right?
Yeah,
No, you can't leave.
I know.
You're not gonna like it, but.
Go, AJ, go!
Is the email that we got about the down pole on South Street, is that gonna be the next meeting?
It must, yeah, she probably had this posted before, cause this has to be posted 48 hours ahead of time.
Because we just got
Yeah.
that email like yesterday, day
I think
before.
so, yeah.
Why, what's the issue?
Um,
Down utility pole?
Yeah.
And the the oil from the
South Street, the-
transformer
Yeah.
spilled within the 100-foot.
Oh.
Yeah, it was that overturned pickup on South
Yeah.
Street, took out
Okay.
a telephone pole.
Sounds like they did a good job of
It looked like, right, so they, I'm trying to remember, they're gonna come in so we can tell them how we want, cause right now they just put down stone dust, right, so, or,
I think it was 3/4 crushed, which is
right,
which is
but
probably
I'm trying to
maybe
remember maybe Maddie remembers the details of the meeting, of the email. Either they're gonna file how they plan to remediate it, or they want us to tell them how we want them to remediate it.
Who's them?
Must be National Grid.
I was gonna say, do I need to
National Grid.
recuse myself from that conversation?
Yeah.
Are you
Probably.
National Grid?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I should.
right,
I should.
I believe what you have to do is you have to make it known that you work for National Grid.
Okay.
And then if anybody has a problem, then you recuse
Okay.
yourself, right? But you're not in that same division, right?
Not anymore, but,
Oh, but you used to be,
well, I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know who you have coming in.
right? I don't either.
They said
Um,
plan and then they wanted to discuss it.
Who's
They didn't say anything about filing. They just said,
National
this
Grid
is our plan.
and
Does it have a
the
name on it?
spill from the
Spill, right.
transformer.
Yep.
I don't know.
So,
Tie bond, I think they worked with.
Yeah, usually they have the national grid person
what is your take on their email?
I honestly didn't look into it too much.
Right, I think
Yeah.
they're waiting for information from us.
Okay.
Does that come today?
The
I
email?
think
Yes,
yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday or the day before.
Yeah.
Also, Eloise is no longer notary.
Oh, is
What?
Kristen still in the building?
Nope, she left already.
Do you need me to make a phone call? I know some notaries.
Uh,
I don't live too far.
do you think someone would come down?
For a
Because we
modest
could
fee.
probably ask Lisa also.
I don't know who Lisa is, but
Lisa Wysocki, your newest
Oh.
select person.
Okay. Well, now that I have the last name, I know.
Yeah.
Who that is. I can ask if there's still a notary. Otherwise, we probably ought to talk to Lisa.
Yeah, I mean, although she is, because she's an early to riser, she's an early to bedder.
I can relate.
Yep.
I'm usually getting ready for bed now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm actually.
Peg, we have to make you a notary.
Okay.
Tom, you're not a notary, are you?
I'm barely a pedestrian.
Oh, boy. Do that because Poppy makes you walk.
Can I ask a question? Earlier when he was talking about the fact you have no teeth, so to speak, am I mistaken, but wasn't there a vote a couple of years ago on a set of bylaws and then it got voted down?
And
It got voted down.
Correct, and that, had that not happened, we would have had the ability to fine.
There will be a special town meeting this coming fall if you would like to work on a small portion of your bylaw. Just saying. Give Lexi something to do.
What's the meeting for?
So those are all like the leftover articles that we didn't stick on the May one. So we're having a smaller, less volatile town meeting.
Are you sure
clear
it'll be
through
less
some
volatile?
stuff.
Yeah, not if we added any wetlands.
Right?
We could change that.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
It
been
throws
so
a
long
little wrench,
since we've
yeah.
done a CR that I forgot about the whole notary part.
Oh, Eloise is already gone.
Eloise is no longer a notary.
She let it
Oh.
lapse, apparently.
Yep.
Okay.
Is she planning to
Um,
redo it or no? Like, doesn't want the
Didn't sound like
responsibility?
it.
Are you reaching out to Lisa or?
Yeah.
Alright.
If someone on Concom were a notary, would that be a conflict?
That's it. If,
Are they
if,
allowed
like,
to
if
sign?
Maddie was a notary, I think that would be okay.
Yeah.
You go.
Yeah.
My friend is still at work, unfortunately.
Still
In
at work.
Carlisle.
Goodness.
She works at the Carlisle Library.
Oh,
What?
cool.
Apparently they're open late.
Oh, very late. I thought our library was good to be open to 6:30 today.
Yeah.
For a town this small with the money we have, that's not bad.
Yeah, but I would've thought
We were
Carlisle
fortunate
wouldn't
to
have,
have
you
that
know, it's a small
library.
town too. Well, yeah, they have the money, but they're a small town too.
They're right next to Concord.
Yeah, I know.
Now, I don't know if she can notarize this because she signed it as select board member.
Oh, then I would think no.
Probably not.
Right.
Nope.
It's a conflict of interest.
Right.
So we re-sign the signature page next time?
I was gonna say, can't we just do that next time and?
Yeah, but
Who are we
who's
gonna
gonna
get
be our
coming in?
notary?
Well, if you can start your meeting right at 7, it's a Wednesday. Kristen, I think, is.
Cri-
a notary.
Right, that's
Ah.
true.
So you'd have to have that, your first agenda item, and get it
And-
down here to.
Right, okay.
And get her on board.
Yep.
Crap, that's 2 more weeks. We're
We've waited
supposed-
5 years,
Yeah.
so
Right,
what's
that's
2 more
right.
weeks?
Sorry,
Uh,
Phil.
Hold on.
It's all right. No problem.
Just making sure that she thinks she can notarize it, even though she signed it for the select, it's not the same page.
I
I
still
don't know.
think, I would, I
Right.
don't think.
I mean, she's super, if there's
I know.
even a
I know.
hint of impropriety, she would not do it.
Do we wanna move forward with other stuff and set that aside for
Well,
now?
hold on, she's typing.
Oh, okay.
we can move on, the Horseshoe Pond CR. Where does that even stand? That has gone.
I think it went back to the state, so now the state's
Right.
gonna
Oh,
come back
that's
with
right.
their final.
She had a whole bunch of questions.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And you're getting that stuff to
So
her?
Meredith got that to her today, so.
Oh, perfect.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Probably not Chris. Okay. So she doesn't think that she can. So.
For what it's worth, our next HOA meeting's on the 10th, so have it done before that. Not that,
Oh,
not
okay.
that still does, I mean, it's
Yeah.
not, well, it
It's a
is
nice
sort
to
of.
have.
So then
Nice to
are you,
have, so
you're gonna be there to explain it to them, right?
I'll do my best.
Okay. So is that all you wanted to talk about Horseshoe Pond?
Yeah,
Just
that was
that
pretty much,
it's-
yep.
yep.
I put it
Um,
there, I'm gonna keep it there, so when we're ready to sign it,
Right.
it's on the agenda.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right.
These are the trails.
Finally, Tom, the part
Yeah, I
you've
know,
been
right?
waiting for.
Yeah.
I should've listened.
All right, so, not last Saturday, the Saturday before, or was it just last Saturday?
No, Saturday before, so,
Week and a half.
yep.
We can, yeah. Maddie, Ethan, Holly, me. Is that it? Tom was
Tom.
there?
Was Walter there?
No.
No.
Met with Gary Goldrup, who is the forester that we are hiring to do some of the forestry work, or to do the forestry work on Ager Woods property. And he recommended that we start on the northern part of the property, right?
Yep, so section 1.
Section 1 on your map.
That's,
Um,
so that's this whole.
There's 2 ones.
Yep, so,
Oh, it's
That's-
just all continued.
yeah. Yeah, I think
um,
this little corner piece, that's a separate piece, right? That's
Yeah.
not our property.
No.
Should we know
Right.
what like RM and MS and all that stands for? OH, WPH, all those abbreviations?
I'm not sure what that,
I think that's
It's
from the
just a
original
forest
plan.
type. yeah.
The
Oh,
original
yeah.
plan he gave, it describes what type of trees and stuff.
Right.
Okay, I see
Yeah.
it there now.
So
Right.
section 1 was red maple is dominant overstory species and well-stocked stand with mostly closed canopy. Understory vegetation includes high bush blueberry, winterberry, spice bush, greenbrier, multiflora rose, bittersweet, witch hazel, and seedling and saplings. So climate risk, invasive species in the understory could limit the amount of native regeneration in the future. Invasives in the stand include multiflora rose, bittersweet, honeysuckle, and Japanese barberry. So the recommendation was to get in there and get rid of those invasives.
Right.
It's not gonna be
First.
the most profitable cut for, foresters or loggers essentially, but he recommends it's in our best interest to control those invasives.
Right. Especially because they do seem to be pretty contained to that corner right now. So before they start to migrate, to take care of that.
And there apparently are grants available to help with the invasive management aspect of it. And he was saying honestly, it works out better if you cut and then treat the invasives, in that sense, do like herbicides to treat it. They respond there's a lot better response than just
But
trying to treat the invasives.
You need to
not
be
them.
certified.
Right, right.
Right. Did he send that form over?
He has not sent that form over, so once we, I think, after tonight's meeting, if we vote to,
No. Oh, yeah.
right, vote to say, hey, we approve your plan of starting with section 1.
Right.
I think he'll, send us the application documents over, so.
Okay, right, so he recommends that, we, do whatever thinning that we're gonna do up there, apply for, grant to help pay for the removal of the invasive species. I was like, you mean somebody else is gonna do it?
Yeah, so
Very
we
excited
won't
about
be
that.
the ones taking those out.
Pardon?
Concom won't be the one taking those out.
Correct, yes. Someone who is licensed on how to do that. So, you know, we will certainly apply for the grant money, assuming we get it. We would move forward with that. So I guess the motion should include, positive, you know, receiving that grant.
Right.
Right.
So pending a positive,
Award.
I can't word, award of grant,
Mhm.
right?
Yep. So, go ahead.
Do we, I make a motion pending a positive approval of grant for invasives management, that we accept the forestry plan put forward by Gary Goldrup.
Yes, sir?
So the grant is specifically for the removal of the invasives?
Correct.
Okay, a couple of months ago, I sent a message about getting one of these weed wrenches because I've been doing work at Highland Ridge. And Phil, remember last year when your nephews were here?
Nephews, yeah, were here.
We were using one of those things, those kids, they thought that was great because they could pull a, you know, pretty good sized tree out. But I'd used one many times up in Minnesota where we were pulling buckthorn. And, yeah, so I wonder, can that be included in the grant? Cause I'm getting too old to do this.
How much are they?
They're a little over $100, I think.
Right, I think we'll do that out of a different bucket.
Yeah.
Okay, just-
Yeah.
I could certainly use one of those for trail work.
Well, that's
Right.
what this was for.
We
Yeah.
have money
Right.
to spend,
I was
so
just say,
Right.
speaking
we
of that,
gotta spend that annual budget.
what'd you say our
Right.
budget was right now?
Yeah, we
Like
have,
1,400.
Oh,
Yeah.
geez, yeah, let's
So
spend
let's buy
it on
some.
something useful.
Right.
You're not going to
Right.
Hawaii this year, are you?
Well, in that case.
No,
Yeah.
Yosemite.
Yeah.
Right, so, so we're gonna leave that out of this motion
Okay,
Yes.
for the moment.
Thank you.
So,
Unrelated.
we have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion about the motion at hand? Hearing none, I'll ask you to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? I always forget to say that part. All right, so you will let Gary know that we voted to approve
Yep.
that, and that it is contingent on our getting awarded the
Yeah.
grant. So please send, he said the turnaround time was pretty fast from when you submit the application. So we should know sooner than not.
Mhm.
Awesome. All right.
Well, I must add,
Oh,
here are the
oh.
prices at the time. Oh, no, we
Okay.
already voted, right?
Not for
no,
this.
no.
Okay.
No, that's gonna be
Yeah, no.
separate.
No, I wanted to give you the prices.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
I just wanted to throw something out there again, I talked about when we were parking lot, but just to consider the possibility of potentially getting goats to do that.
Right.
I looked into it a little bit, and there's a tree farm in Marlboro called Houdes. It's like they do Christmas trees and they do landscaping and stuff like that, and they also have goats that do weed mitigation.
I
You know,
love
like,
that
bittersweet and
That sounds
things like that.
Right.
I'd gladly look into it further if it's something you're all interested in. I just thought it's still something worth potentially considering.
If you wanna look into it, especially, there are some other properties in town where we might be able to use that.
It seems like a great develop a relationship with somebody who does that, and you
Right.
bring goats in, you know, even there for a couple of weeks or what, I don't know how it works, but.
Yeah, I don't either. Like, who watches them during the day?
I
Yeah.
think they put up electric fences,
Yeah.
and they just kinda leave the goats there, and the goats
Yeah.
kinda mind themselves, but that's just anecdotally from what I've seen
Sure.
on television stuff.
Yeah, if you wanna gather some information about that, that would be
Okay.
awesome.
I'd be glad to do that, thank you.
Cool, thank you.
But they'll eat the native species as well as the invasives.
Yeah, but
They're
they'll
goats.
do the scarification sort of in
Yeah.
a different way.
Right, but there's some areas that are heavily,
Yeah. Yeah.
like at the end of Berlin Meadow,
Oh, yeah.
right, where they could just go in there. But then we would also have to have a plan about what to do after they've eaten the invasives, because when you leave the soil bare like that, that's when the invasives come in.
Potentially.
You know, yeah, so it's, right, you know,
I'm
but,
guessing there's gotta be some kind of a symbiotic type thing where the goats leaving gifts behind cause the other plants to then.
could very well be.
Et cetera, et cetera.
Except if they're eating invasives and any seeds they consume are gonna be invasive seeds, yada, yada, yada. But
Right.
we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, right, so if you wanna start the research, that would be awesome.
Gladly do that, thank you.
Great, thank you, Tom. All right, anything else about Ager Woods? Then we're gonna make a motion for trail tools.
Yeah, okay.
Bird banding pools.
Bird banding, yes.
Yep, so our season. Yeah, our season's starting soon. Currently,
Brain-breakingly red.
I know they
Yeah.
are.
It's just-
They're beautiful.
I saw one in the woods once and I was just like, how are you that red?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
What's
So
the one on the right?
the one on the right is the oven bird. So that was one of our recaps from last year. So one that we bidded in 2023, we recaptured in 2024. Hopefully we'll catch it 2025 again. We're hoping for. And they go down to Central America and then come back up to breed with us.
That's
so.
crazy.
That is
That
crazy.
little tiny
We
bird
saw and
goes
heard
all the
them
way down,
in South
comes
Carolina
all the way
Oh,
back
yeah.
to the
Weeks ago.
same spot.
So
That is
that's-
crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, they are making their way back and on territory now. So aiming for a June 1st start at this point.
Okay.
But we do need to repurchase some mistnet poles because they were stolen. So
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where?
From the parking
Agerwood
lot at
parking lot.
Ager Woods.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, somebody stole them?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
We dropped them off and
No, I
It
saw
just
'em.
kept raining and raining.
weekend,
and then
weekend after weekend, we couldn't put them up because rain,
and then they were gone.
Yeah. So, do you have a dollar amount?
I thought I
Maybe.
sent
Yeah.
that at one
It's just
point.
Yeah.
conduit, right?
Yeah, it's conduit.
Jolly
So
conduit.
it's, I think it was 220.
10-foot lengths, right?
How many do you need?
Yeah, 10-foot lengths, half-inch.
See, I think I priced 3/4 because I thought it was 3/4.
Oh, nope, you're right. It is 3/4.
Oh,
3/4.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So did you have the number? It's a little over $200.
Yeah.
And how many do you need?
20.
That'll be. Lowe's is loading. It's $11.78 each,
Yeah.
plus tax.
And I guess
Actually, no tax, right?
We don't cover.
We wouldn't pay for tax.
Yeah, whoever picks them up eats the tax, but I get 10% off for. some-
Guess you're picking them up then.
Some darn
Yeah,
reason.
right?
For some darn reason. So. Yeah, and we need 20 of them. So.
Right.
Ooh, we get the volume discount.
Nice. 11.16.
No kidding.
So it's $212 plus tax from Lowe's.
So, someone want to make a motion to allow AJ to spend no more than $220? Give you
Fair
a little
enough.
buffer there?
Yeah.
So moved.
The 212 was before tax. But
Okay. Well, we
Oh, you
can't
said-
reimburse tax anyway, so.
That's how that works.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
Alright.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask you to vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 All this talk of reimbursement reminds me that I have a receipt for snacks and water for workday.
You have a receipt or no receipt?
I have a receipt. It's in
Okay.
my van, but I have it.
Do you want to do it next time?
We can do that.
Okay, so, trail tools and supplies,
Apparently AJ wants a weed wrench, and I don't blame him.
right. So, do you guys maybe want to make a list and
What-
we'll
what are-
vote at the next meeting?
Yeah,
Yeah,
why don't
that's
we do
fine.
that?
I don't need a whole lot.
Peg, when's the fiscal year end?
June
End
30th.
of June.
Okay, that's what I thought, right,
Yeah,
so we
June
gotta
30th.
spend it, we gotta
Yeah.
spend it.
Mhm.
Um,
Oh, these come out of Canada, so the price might be different now.
That's true.
Cause that's a couple of days old or a week.
Do you
Yep.
wanna, do you have my email?
Yeah.
Do you wanna
Yeah.
send me a link to the one you specifically want, cause these look, there's a few different ones.
I'm sure there are others. I just brought this up as an example.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Right.
I'm sure there are others.
Okay. If you've got a specific one you want, if you want me to just pick one and put it on the list, I can do that too.
Yeah, and I'm kind of wondering, if we had a small one and a big one, but I don't want to get greedy, but
We have the money, so. we might as
What's
well
our
put it
budget?
the
Right.
big ones don't work all that great on something that's, you know.
Yeah, so
Small.
we'll get
Lots of
a
rooms and-
small one or a medium one and a large one.
Yeah,
That's-
okay.
That shouldn't be a problem.
Think about it anyway, we can vote
Yeah.
next time. Thank you.
There's
Bring it
actually-
up.
Yeah.
Maybe price 2 or 3, or if you know other
I'll-
brands.
I'll look into it,
Right.
see if there's
Just
And
one
pull
you'll,
there.
and you'll put together a list of some other tools
Yeah.
with some prices, and we'll just
Yep.
do all Ethan money next.
Sounds good.
All right.
Yeah, it might be different vendors, cause I know that there's a company, a Massachusetts-based company that makes, trail tools.
Nice.
Theirs are not cheap, so I might have to not do those, but.
Okay.
As long as we can store them somewhere.
Actually, I got this brand
I'm
from
okay with buying good
SVT.
quality tools.
Yeah.
We have the
Right.
money.
Right.
Right.
I'd rather buy good quality that is locally made
Oh,
and.
I'm not gonna buy anything that is bad. But when I say they're not cheap, that's me saying they're not cheap. And if you know me a little better, you'd understand what that means.
Well, while we're on the subject, just briefly, so at our next HOA meeting on the 10th, as I mentioned, at Highland Ridge, I've talked to Jane Mahoney just recently, so she was again wanting to have another session,
A
getting, or
trail
training.
day?
Yeah, trail day, and et cetera. So I said I would gauge the interest, and everybody wants a weekend. I don't know if that's gonna be possible or not anyway, not to drown you in the minutia, but we are gonna try to see if we can obtain some support to do that. I
Awesome.
thought their tools were very good, but I didn't pay any attention to the brand that we
Yeah.
used that.
This is the brand name that she gave me.
Oh, she did give us
Yeah.
this. Jane Mahoney.
Jane Mahoney.
That's who
From
SVT.
SVT.
Right. She came out, well, the one that AJ mentioned earlier, and so she's been out a couple times, and it's good. It's a good partnership, so we'll do our best. And then also we need a tree assessment, and she said she would informally help us a little bit with that. 'Cause-
Awesome.
Last summer she was in there taking an inventory, but I think it was of a couple of specific species and not an overall.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
I walked with her and she blew me away with the depth
Oh,
of her
absolutely.
knowledge, so,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's one of my biggest
Thank you.
ones.
Awesome. Anybody have anything else?
Yep.
All right.
I let you off last time. Walter and I, we did the garden. First round because there were a lot of tiny weeds and we're just letting them get big enough so you can get your fingers around them.
Right.
So we're gonna go back over there and do that again, early next week. It's just gonna be too wet the rest of this week. Then we planted, 124 flowers.
Annuals?
Yeah. I didn't bring the receipt tonight.
All right.
Next
Bring it
time.
next time.
Yeah. Also, of course, besides the CSX thing, also, I went with Jim McCook to walk the Oberg property up on, is it,
Lyman.
Yeah, Lyman Road, right at the town line with Northborough. We did that last year, and the old car parts and tires and stuff were still there. Nobody has taken those.
You
Even-
put a free sign up on them.
Yeah, right? Put a free sign on
And then
them.
they'll take them, cause it's free.
No, put a price on it, doesn't look they're worth something to this. And then there were a couple of other small issues, but I don't think anything that can be overcome easily. But at some point, we might wanna consider, especially old tires, besides being a little bit toxic, they tend to, harbor mosquito larvae and other things. So, at some point, there's 16 of them.
Maybe do a cleanup.
Yeah, and some kind of a cart, cause the best, I think, is about 3/8 of a mile to the nearest road
Where is
outlet.
this?
It's right by somebody's house and driveway, but I really would not feel comfortable asking them, can we walk across your property with all of this garbage? So, up Lyman Road,
You could-
just to the
Yeah, I
town
mean,
line.
we'll,
But it's closer to, the new parking lot that we're talking about
Yeah.
for Horseshoe Pond.
Yeah.
That's a shorter distance from all this stuff.
Okay,
Then-
so this is on the Horseshoe Pond property.
Right,
Or-
the Oberg property abuts the Horseshoe
Oh,
Pond
okay.
property.
I gotcha.
And it's kind of closer to Horseshoe Pond and that trail network than it is to the trailhead I was talking about.
I gotcha.
We need a little maintenance on the signage up there, at that trailhead, but I can manage that. I wrote down some
the new,
dimensions.
the new.
No, no,
the,
but-
the trailhead on Lyman, almost in Northborough.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
up, yeah. So, I took some measurements and I think,
Yeah.
anyway,
There's
that's it.
the Berlin side of Pisgah in general, like all of it,
Yeah, yeah.
needs a lot of work. I had a Eagle Scout contact me about doing a project, and I pointed him in the direction of building a bridge for that first wet section. If you come from
Linden.
Linden,
Oh, yeah.
or
Yeah.
Lyman, actually.
Right, and that's been needed a bridge for
Yep.
ever, but
Yeah.
before we owned the property, we couldn't do it.
Couldn't do
Pretty
anything
big
about it.
span though, isn't it? I mean, sometimes
Well, yeah,
it's
but
pretty
he's engineering track, so I figured he'd be perfect for that.
good enough.
Yeah.
It's even it really ought to have a little crook in it too, so it makes
Right.
it extra interesting.
Right, and you're working with him and he'll.
I haven't heard
give-
from him since we talked, so I'm gonna reach out.
Yeah, just poke him and
Yeah.
just make sure he knows that you wanna see his plans before, and if you don't wanna do that alone, we can have him come into a meeting and talk about it.
Sure. Either way.
I'm done.
All right, anybody else?
Well, I did talk to the librarian at the Berlin Library about any ideas we could work with her, and they are open to it. So they had suggestions if we wanted to engage people in trails or getting them to know about trails, they could do like a story walk. And another idea, like they would like to do something like that, or put up. I've seen it other places where they have little pieces of a book along the
Along a trail. I've
along the
seen-
trail,
yeah,
like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So they'd be totally into that if we were into that. But anything we wanted to post anything with them or put it on their site, they're more than welcome to work with us on anything that they can help us disseminate information out.
Right.
So
Was there any particular project that got you excited?
well,
that
no,
you,
I was just thinking. Well, Walter kept talking about the bluebirds and the bluebird boxes, and I mentioned that, and she's like, "Well, that would be great, but we don't really have like the area for if people wanted to come and build bluebird
Right.
boxes. That's not something we don't have really the space to do that."
Right.
She liked that idea, or something with bluebirds or stories or something that we could come up with
Right.
that might engage people into getting them to build a bluebird box.
Right,
I just
yeah.
kind of wasn't sure what we wanted to do anyway, but I figured I'd talk to them to see
Right.
if they're willing to work with us, whatever we want to do.
Programming is hard.
Right. I mean, I think whatever we do is beneficial. So, any kind of community engagement is for the best, and especially in conjunction with the library.
Yes.
So, I don't know, I think I'm gonna let you and the librarian
I know,
pick
yeah,
something.
we can, I mean, she talked about, she had these ideas, and she says, but then it comes to funding, she's like, we'd love to do this, we'd love to do that.
Right.
But
Right, I mean, we do have some funds that we
Yes.
could put towards
Okay, so maybe
something,
mention that to her.
so, yeah,
Okay.
depending on what kind of funds we're talking about.
Right.
So, but yeah, like, it's not out of the question that we
Okay.
could help with something like
Okay,
that.
because she did say she had ideas, but some of it costs some money,
Yeah.
and that it's hard for her to
Sure,
access to that money because their budget is so tight.
yes, Yep.
that if we could help out with
Yeah.
that, then that might open up her to be
Right.
able to do things.
Wonder
she
if we
wanted to
could
do.
use wetlands
They
funds.
do a lot of activities with.
For
They
a
do.
wetlands
They do.
related.
And they got a lot of.
Yeah, if we
They're
did a
not
wetlands
necessarily
related outreach.
library
Right.
connected.
I thought,
but-
yeah, I thought we could.
Right,
Right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, there you go.
Cause
We
they,
got-
she liked that idea.
Sure.
She wants to do stuff.
You know,
Yeah.
I haven't
So
looked at
if,
what the cost of it.
if there was
Portion
something
farm.
like education about
This year.
vernal pools
Spend it
or
down.
education
Oh, yeah,
about
education, yeah,
wetlands specifically, we have a fair amount of money in our
Okay.
wetlands budget.
Yeah.
But it has to be very focused.
On wetlands.
Last
on
year when I-
wetlands.
the previous
Okay.
year when I
Um,
figured out it had a-
so,
looks like a blue
yeah.
jay.
And
Mhm.
we
Oh.
have some money left that was
Wasn't really-
donated.
Yeah,
I think we
we're
have
doing
like half
donation
of that,
back.
right?
And I think
Yep.
Yeah.
educating about wetlands would be really good if we're gonna try to actually get a new wetlands bill passed.
Correct.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
throwing that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the importance
Yeah.
of wetlands.
Yep.
No, it is,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one thing that we have
Do you like
Yep.
drinking
teeth with.
water?
So,
Yeah,
wanna
exactly.
Get
Yeah,
that out
so,
there so people more aware.
Yep.
There's also the vernal pool at BMS, so
Mhm.
that'd be,
Yeah,
Right.
vernal
they would
pools.
probably be really interested in that kind of programming as well.
Yep.
Heather does that.
Yeah.
She always did a program.
Right, right,
Yeah.
I mean, that's true.
Another thing sort of wetlands adjacent, as it were, I know I spent a lot of money on is buying mushroom books. Books about foraging for mushrooms and all the myriad of mushrooms that you find around town. It's a very interesting topic. If you get kids interested in mushrooms. you
Yeah,
let
we
them
don't
out
know
in the
if
woods and they're
that's
gonna be happy all day.
Yeah.
There's lots of kinds of mushrooms out there.
Oh, that's
Oh,
lots
yeah.
of kinds.
Yeah, it's
There's a lot of
crazy.
edible mushrooms here, too.
Yep. There'll probably be a lot of them around on Saturday.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, very popular.
They're gonna
Yep.
be so excited.
Yep. All right, well, anybody else? That's all I have.
I make a motion to end the meeting at 8:46 PM.
Second.
Oh,
It's non-debatable. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's still early. When Skip Duggan was the chair, 11 o'clock,
Oh my God.
routinely.
I would have quit
Routinely.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
My bedtime is
Anything you need?
I
I
could
know.
not wait.
No, I think I'm good. Well, I do have an announcement.
You get up.
Oh, wait. Everybody,